Hey everyone, we have this really nice landing page design which was made for an XD daily creative challenge. I talked to the designer and asked if I can do some redesign, and she accepted. So let's see if we are going to be able to find some points to be improved. So let's copy the artboard and get started with. I kind of feel like logo needs to be bigger and dull, so I'm gonna turn the responsive resize off. Also, I feel like the top section needs more spacing or more prominence. I'm gonna select everything. I'm gonna temporarily group them and move them towards bottom, and I'm gonna resize the artboard to keep the whole content inside. So let's resize these guys a little bit. Yeah, something like this makes more sense, right? And I'm gonna move a little bit, move the navigation a little bit towards the bottom also, and align it with the logo. Yeah, it looks already much better. So I think we need to make the navigation smaller a little. Yeah. We need to align things better. I see a consistency on horizontal alignment, except the navigation. So let's select the whole navigation, align it to the right. So we can use the previous top alignment. So I'm gonna group the whole navigation. I'm gonna group the logo, align it to the top, and align these guys to the logo in the center. So yeah, I think the top section looks better this way. But now we have too much space between the text and the top section, right? So we can select these guys and move them towards the top a little, without getting them too close to the top. So in terms of spacing, this looks better, I would say. Also, yeah, before that actually, I want to check these gradients and to increase the contrast. I want to edit the lighter color in this gradient to make it a little darker for better contrast. I think this looks better. I'm gonna add this new gradient to the assets panel, and I'm also going to replace the gradient there. I'd like to change the fonts of these guys. So I guess we are using Open Sans or something here. Why not using the same fonts here? And let's make them semi-bold or bold. Let's try color. Better, I would say. I'm also going to edit the color of these guys to keep the things consistent. And so I want to redesign these cards, and I want to try an equally sized look here. So I'm gonna just try something like this. Let's check the dimensions of these guys. So let's use some guides to align those. I'm gonna try and remove these ones. So yeah, copy this one. Actually, why not making these width and gonna center it. Let's check if it's going to look better with slightly smaller text. Something like this. And center align it again. Let's make all of these the same size. Center as well. Does it look better if we make these in some other font weight? It makes more sense, right? I think one other thing that I need to check is just the detail, but the curviness of the blob. It could be better if we change these, double clicking and changing their types. That way it looks better. I also want to actually slightly edit this one also. I'm gonna make it smaller to see if it works better. Since we changed the upper blob's color, I'm gonna go ahead and change this one as well, which looks better in my opinion. Same goes for this line also. I think one last thing that I would edit in this section would be just using the same color the texts in for consistency. So yeah, maybe we can just move these guys a little bit. Yeah, I think this looks better. So moving on to the next section. These are aligned perfectly, right? Let me just zoom out a little bit to check the whole layout to compare. Yeah, this must be the hover state, right? So the text used in these cards actually looks like a little in the middle. They either should be center aligned or they should be clearly left aligned. Yeah, I'm just going to decrease their paddings. But I still think this could use some more padding without making the cards bigger, so I'm gonna try to make them smaller a few pixels. I'm gonna just try something. I'm gonna move this one to align with the last one of the left column, and I'm gonna distribute the the ones in the right column, and I'm going to select these background elements and move them out of the card. Maybe making this smaller with slightly more opacity makes more sense. Yeah, I think this section looks better this way. One last thing I would edit in this section, I think, would be changing the borders colors. This looks more consistent, right? How about actually... yeah, looks better, I guess. I think in this section the first thing I'm gonna change is going to be this blob's background color, lowering down its opacity to keep it as a background element. So actually I want to move this guy a little like that. Let's check the alignment. Okay. So moving on to the next section. About this section, I'm gonna just change the borders. And since the borders don't necessarily need to be that prominent, I'm going to put their opacity to 30%. One other thing that we need to change is these guys' background colors. They need much more padding, right? For better spacing, I'm gonna move the parts closer. Yeah, this way they have better spacing. Maybe we want to edit the text size in these cards for some better padding. I think the changes about this section turned out pretty good. Let's continue with the tour section. So I'm gonna start again with reducing the opacities of these guys. I see you created two separate blobs, and Yeah. Right now I'm thinking if the intersection we have here looks distracting. Instead of lowering down the opacity in this case, we can just choose a lighter shade or tint of the background color. So yeah, something like this makes more sense, I guess. But since we are at the background, why not editing the some points of the background to fix some sharp looking edges. Okay, let's try this with the, we can make this icon smaller for better padding and move it towards left. And are we using red anywhere else? I don't think so. So I see you're aiming it to stand out, but we can do that by making it bigger a little and changing its color with something we have in our apt. So why not making this extra bold and increase its size a little bit. Align them center. Oh. Yeah, we can keep them aligned left, but we can move them further from the icon. So yeah, I also want to actually, why don't we just make this whole card smaller? For some better spacing overall. Make this a little smaller. Align it to left. Also, this link could be just a little smaller. And we can just increase the letter spacing of this to make their width equal. One other thing that I would like to change is the sizes of the headings in this section, since they need to stand out a little more. Made it 41. I'm just eyeballing. Let's make this also 41. But actually, these look too big to me. Also the map image aligning. And also align them at the bottom. So I'm gonna mask this image. Yeah, something like this. Let's see the whole section. So that we can make the headlines even bigger. Something like 46, right? And one last thing that I'd like to try is adjust the spacing they have with the previous elements here. Since we have more space, why not also trying to increase the top padding of the section? Actually, I'm gonna make these guys smaller a little bit. Also the icon, and why not moving this towards moving this downwards a little bit. Also moving these ones downwards a little bit. Okay, this looks better. So let's continue with the contact section. This is the last section, right? Let me just resize the artboard first. And I'm gonna use the color we're using for other texts we have. I'm not sure if this has the, yeah, this needs to also have a regular font weight. So keep things consistent. I'm also going to copy this guy. And paste it here. So gonna increase its width. Again, for the sake of consistency, I'm gonna move the text a little downwards. And also, I think we need to, these two elements, the form and the illustration, are too close in my opinion. Also, I want to actually increase the line spacing a little here. Let's try something. Yeah, something like this. So increase the spacing a little bit. I'm gonna just make the text regular instead of light to increase the legibility. We can just make it just a little smaller, or could we make this in 2 lines? Why not? And I'm gonna move the phone number downwards a little. And need more line spacing also here. We just need to, this alignment looks better, right? Or we can just move the icon and center it to the info vertically. Now we can use more left spacing also. Actually, I kind of want to make this smaller. Looks better, in my opinion. I'm gonna move these upwards. Something like this. Yeah, we also have some edits about the contact form, starting with the buttons background gradient, and I'm definitely going to remove the borders here for the input boxes, and almost everything uses rounded corners. We need to also use rounded corners for the input boxes, right? I'm gonna just try to move social icons to to the left column, since we have lots of space there. I still don't like how this looks. Maybe just grouping the whole text and make it smaller. Could be a better solution, right? Can place the social buttons like that. And we can select the whole contact section and move towards the bottom a little bit. And we can resize the artboard. Actually, I want to make these smaller a little bit. And move them further a little from each other. I kind of feel like we do need some kind of order or something at the very bottom. Maybe I don't know, some sort of footer element or something, or just some rectangle. Yeah, this looks better, right? Let's do a side-by-side comparison, and there are some minor tweaks and there are some more prominent ones, like just some spacing, etc. Background color changes, some resizing, things like that. I'm happy with the result actually.